Welcome to another Business Spotlight, where we share tips, advice, reflections, and pearls of wisdom from local business owners in the Cheshire and Manchester area. My name is Kerry James. I'm a business coach and facilitator, and today I'm delighted to welcome to Business Spotlight the founder of Marker Media, Mr. Sam James. Good afternoon to you, Sam, and great to have you on.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome. So Marker Media, let's start off with a bit of history, if we may. How long have you been running the business and what do you specialize in?
So we've been officially running for the last 2 years in May. We specialize in software development and website development. So primarily e-commerce stores, B2B websites for service-based businesses, and then also bespoke technology, so web applications, native iOS and Android applications.
So, okay, Sam, in terms of your typical or ideal client, what might they look like in terms of size or shape or industry focus?
So from a size perspective, we work predominantly with startups. We have started to work with some SMEs, but yeah, the majority of the time it is the startup size that we're looking for. We seem to have this we never really niche down like from an industry perspective, but we do seem to work with a lot of clients in the health and fitness industry. So supplementation, we've got like private health clinic clients. But yeah, other than that, we're pretty broad. We don't really have a specific niche.
And you mentioned a range of different services from e-commerce to website, etc. What's the balance? Where's the kind of majority of your revenues come from in terms of your different services?
I would say probably the bespoke work. So bespoke work we will probably take on, and it will take anywhere between 3 and 9 months to complete. Whereas with a website, we can usually turn one around in probably 7 to 10 days. So you can imagine the price difference from that.
And what would be a typical example of a bespoke application that you design?
So we recently designed something for a private health clinic, and what that basically looked like was similar to the COVID like home testing kits. So effectively, someone would go online, book a test, they would receive the kit through the post with a QR code on. They would visit a phlebotomist, have a sample taken. There would be a QR code that they would stick to the test tube that would go then off to the lab. The lab would test it, and they would receive the results back through a custom portal. So that's all completely automated effectively. So
okay.
Within that piece of software, there is the client portal and also a custom admin portal, which obviously we've got the analytics and add in all of the different products and services to the actual website.
Got you. Okay. So you've been going for 2 years, you said. So what's that, a year or so after COVID? Clearly there's been huge environmental changes with the digital revolution. I guess the move to a growth in e-commerce combined with inflation and interest rate changes, hybrid working, etc., etc. How have all those trends and dynamics influenced your industry and your decision to set up the business?
So we actually set up the business a year after the initial idea. So during COVID, I actually moved back from university. I was in Leeds. I moved back in with my mum, and one of my close friends has a couple of pubs in the town where we're from. And obviously because of COVID, they just had to close, and he was like, I need to do something else. I had studied graphic design for a year at university before I pivoted and went to do economics and finance. So he basically reached out to me and said, I'm wanting to set up a meal prep business. Can you design a logo and build a very basic website for me? And I think I ended up doing both for something like £100, which is just unheard of now. But it was just very, very basic logo, very, very basic website. And from there, it sort of just snowballed. So more and more people were asking me to build little bits like that for new businesses that they were launching because they had so much time at home, or they were furloughed and they needed to look for a income from somewhere else. And then from the back of that, the other Charlie and Lewis joined as well within the following year, and we sort of made it official in the May. From off the back of COVID, I would say that the majority of people realized the full potential of selling online. And I think even you look at like websites for restaurants now, they're so much more advanced than they were prior to COVID. The majority of them have got the QR code system on the tables where you can scan the menu. It sort of pushed everybody into the 21st century.
Yes, I guess it's maybe the kind of Amazon effect that has affected all sorts of different services and purchasing processes, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned a couple of colleagues there. What sort of size of team are you now then, Sam?
So we're a team of 4, and we do have a part-time member of staff as well who helps with some outreach, cold outreach.
Okay. Well, finding the right people has clearly been a challenge for many businesses over the last couple of years. But what would you say are your current main challenges in terms of where you are now, where you want to get to with Marker?
The difficulty that we've got is we've not really taken the same path as a lot of agencies take. So majority of agencies will onboard you with like a big service first of all, and then they'll put you onto some sort of monthly retainer or management plan or something like that. Majority of the time, anybody that's on one of their management plans is getting ripped off, in my view. There is no reason for you to pay a monthly retainer unless you require work. So what we would say if someone is pushing for a retainer, it would be we'll trial it for 1 month, and then we'll guess how many hours we think you're going to need, and then we can go up or down from there effectively. So what that's meant for us is that it's quite difficult sometimes to fill the calendar because we're completely reliant on referrals, like pretty much as a whole. So we have peaks and troughs, which every business has. When we have the peaks, we need more staff, and when we have the troughs, we obviously don't. So it's trying to find the balance between hiring and freelancers to make sure that we can stay at a consistent level continually.
It's interesting you mentioned that referrals is your main source of new business. So in terms of either digital or outbound marketing, are you not doing so much of that? Do you not see the potential in that side of things?
So we have tried. We have tried with cold outreach on LinkedIn, on Instagram. We've tried content strategies, and for us, the leads that come through just aren't amazing. So how we fill our pipeline now is we've partnered with other agencies across Manchester, and they don't offer the services that we offer, but they also we can basically offer services to our clients that we don't do internally as well. So we used to be a full service agency. We used to do web development, marketing, branding, literally everything, SEO. But then we pivoted last September just to software and web, so just technology. So the other agencies that we've now partnered with are marketing, SEO, social, and they basically are feeding our pipeline on the lowest level. The applications and the software builds is all built from referrals from our previous client pool.
Got you. Okay. So what about aspirations then? You mentioned getting the right clients, etc. What sort of size and shape do you hope to be in, say, 3 to 5 years' time? And what do you think the main priorities will be for you to help you get there?
So definitely hiring the right people. So three of the 4 are actually directors, so we're all equal shares directors. The hire that we have was based solely on values. He was completely inexperienced when he joined us as a business, so we've completely spent the last 6 months teaching him how to actually do the role. And for me, that's the most important thing. So that's immediately a very difficult hiring policy, because knowing somebody's true values before they actually come into your business and before you spend time with them is fairly difficult. We've been lucky that the person who joined us was a friend from years ago, so I already knew exactly what he was about. Where we would like to go, so we do actually like working with startups. So I think it's the most rewarding area business size to go for. So if we were to look out into where the best startups are out of America, you would say Manchester for me is the best in the UK. London's a little bit too saturated. Then you would look to Lisbon. There's so many different startups in Lisbon across Europe, and probably Dubai as well. So if we were to look at Probably not in 3 to 5 years, but if we were to look at like a 10-year plan, it would be that we would have offices in all 3 locations, offering the same service, which is effectively a startup growth accelerator program.
Very good. Okay. Excellent. Okay then, Sam. So you mentioned, I was impressed when you talked about recruiting on values. It's certainly something that we definitely recommend to our clients, and crystallizing those values, agreeing what they are, involving the team, thinking about what values they need to show in order for customers to come back and buy from them again, etc. So I'd say it's pretty impressive for a kind of startup like yourself, or a relatively small business, to take that approach. So tell us a little bit more about those values and how you use those to recruit that new person.
So the value sort of stems from the fact that all three of us, me, myself, Charlie, and Lewis, run an agency which we consider to be successful, or on its way to being successful, and none of us have ever actually worked for an agency before. We've all also learned the skills that we now provide over the past 3 years using tools on the internet. That's it. So I've got a degree, Lewis has got a degree, but it's not in the field, not relevant to the field that we're currently in. So that's sort of where it stems from, that anybody that's believes that they're capable of doing something and they want it enough can go and learn it. You don't need to go down the educational route. So the initial value is basically, if you can be patient and continuous and continually work at something, at one of your goals effectively, we can help guide you to achieve it.
Okay. And so do you have your values kind of captured and crystallized and expressed very fully in terms of what behaviors are expected, etc.?
Not we're sort of going through that process at the moment. So obviously our first hire now, it's like, right, we need to look at sort of creating a culture and setting expectations. But yeah, at the moment we do have values on our website. But yeah, I would suggest that probably over the next few months we'll probably be ripping everything apart and starting fresh. We've been spending the last 6 months creating SOPs so that everything from the back end perspective is just like watertight. So yeah, I think it's probably time to look at some of the more front end stuff now.
Very good. Well, good on you for thinking about that as a key part of the early part of your business journey, Sam. So you mentioned learning before, and you talked about your degree, etc. And of course, the further we go up in education, the more and more that we learn about less and less. And what British education doesn't prepare us for is being a business owner, which requires knowing a little bit about a lot of different things, from finance to leadership to time management to sales and marketing, etc., etc. So I'm really interested to hear what you think your key lessons have been as a business owner over the last 2 years, and what advice might you be giving yourself kind of 2 years ago if you knew then what you know now?
I'd say the biggest lesson is I'm somebody that has always struggled to be patient, and sometimes with business I get frustrated that I'm not where I expected to be, or I'm not where I want to be, and forget to reflect on where we've come and how far we've come and how we've grown as a business. And I think the biggest lesson would be to try and enjoy the moment more, because you set goals for yourself and you expect fanfare when the goal is completed, but the actual most rewarding part of that is the journey towards the goal. So if I was to say to my 18-year-old self, I would say be more patient and just continue to work as I was doing at the time. Every single thing that I dropped out of university once and changed courses, and at the time it was obviously a massive thing for me, but it's looking back on it, it's played a massive part into where Marco is today. So the two courses have both added a lot of value to where we are. Interesting.
That speaks to a podcast I was listening to earlier. Actually, I'll send you a link to the Business Excellence podcast. But that was exactly the discussion there about it. Absolutely important to have goals and be clear about your destination and who you need to become to get there. But it's only once you've got that in place that you can enjoy the day-to-day progress that you're making towards those goals and those destinations. So really interesting to hear that, Sam. Excellent. Well, it's been great to hear your journey, Sam, and all the very best with the business. One final question, if I may. If anybody is kind of interested in talking to you and talking about the range of services and maybe startup businesses watching the Business Spotlight, what might be a sensible next step, or anything you'd suggest as an offer to pick up the conversation?
Yeah, so for e-commerce brands, we do offer at the moment a free audit of the website, so we can look at optimizing their core metrics like conversion rate. If it's somebody that's looking for bespoke technology, we can give them a link there. They can book a free 15-minute consult call with myself, and we can see whether we're a good fit for each other.
And I think I noticed on your website there's a button there to book that call. Is that right, Sam?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
great. Well, that directly in my calendar.
Excellent. All right, thank you, Sam. Well, we'll definitely include that URL on the as a link associated with the posting of this video. So, Sam, thanks ever so much once again for your time and for your input, and all the very best with Marco Media.
Thank you very much.